Taxpayer Services Director Gary White exemplifies an unwavering dedication to the state of Maryland. Today, we celebrate an incredible milestone as Director White completes 50 years of exceptional service at the Office of the Comptroller. Congratulations to Director White on 5 decades of amazing service. Team Comptroller is lucky to have such a dedicated and hardworking public servant as the head of our Taxpayer Services Division, and every Marylander is too. Thank you.
I started in 1973, actually October, but it was actually in January of 1973 when I was in high school. We used to hang out at the counselor's office, and one day when we were down there, he asked a group of us, he said, we have some job openings here for the state of Maryland if any of you are interested. So I kind of looked down the list. I found the one that paid the most, and I filled out the application and applied for that position. I had no idea at that time what an assistant revenue examiner was, but it paid $6,667, so that was a lot of money back in 1973. My hair was down my shoulders, and when I interviewed to the supervisor, Jack Wilson was his name, I asked him if my hair was going to be an issue, and he said, my son's hair is longer than yours. He said, that's not going to be an issue. And I said, all right. And shortly after that, I received a notice for a start date, and I started October the 10th of 1973. I came up through the ranks from, as I said, originally assistant revenue examiner to revenue examiner and into a revenue specialist. And then when we relocated our office from Suitland to New Carrollton, I was the assistant manager in New Carrollton. Later in probably about 2012, I was called down to the director's office, Rhea Reed, and at that point I had no idea what she needed. I was trying to think through my mind, was I late on something? Did I have a report that I forgot to do? But no, fortunate enough, when I went down there, she actually asked me if I would be the assistant director for revenue administration. And I was very, very appreciative of the offer and totally agreed that I would. From there, in 2019, I was approached by Sharon Bernardi, who at that point in time was the deputy comptroller, and we had talked about taking the taxpayer service section because it involved such a great deal with all the branch offices, with the call centers, and actually breaking off from the Revenue Administration Division and creating its own division. And she asked me if I would be the director. So at that time I agreed to in 2019. And so from 2019 on, we've been our own division. And I've been the director from that point on. The best part of the job is being able to work with the taxpayers. It's a job, I get paid for it, but it's something that I have enjoyed almost since day one. And then not only the taxpayers, but the employees, my coworkers that I've worked with, day in and day out throughout this whole time has just also just added to that. I mean, it's work, we do our job, but then we also find ways, to enjoy. We decided the directors and myself for the taxpayer service, we would have you could buy a raffle ticket to throw a pie at the director. Had a lot of employees that took a lot of raffle tickets, and I had a lot of pies put in my face that day. So, but it's really been great. I'm very fortunate, both from my personal family life, my work life. I couldn't have asked for anything better. I've always said, and I have said this for many, many years, that The day that I feel like I'm going to come to work is the time that it's probably time for me to retire. So I don't really consider getting up in the morning and coming in here as work, because as I said before, I'm leaving one family, I'm coming to another family. And when you're talking about family, it's not work. So I'll keep doing that until, either my wife tells me it's time for us to, enjoy life a little bit more. I guess when that time comes, then it'll be time for me to retire, but it's not yet.